Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This map is going to be Deja Vu, upper left-hand corner. We have Barracks, very aggressive, awesome Terran these days. He's pretty deep in SSL. I have no idea what stage SSL will be in by the time this makes it live. Upper right-hand corner, we have Sacri, who got knocked out in the round of 24. As far as I know, the map is Deja Vu. Got the ramp lead, so you got the double egg, wide expansion, natural expansion resources right there, and kind of a distance to what would be your third. So you got a third that's, you know, you got some terrain to work with. This is fortunately unbuildable, but you can see where there is a big middle plateau that you can hold, which gives you this bridge access and this bridge access to potentially attack towards what might be a third base for either player. And there's just not a lot. And you got the 1024 programmer joke resources there in the middle, and then it's rotated. What do they want to call it? If you rotate a section of it across the map, that's the entirety of it. And there's just not, and honestly, like, where do you go for Zerg? Like, this seems like the base you want to grab, which sometimes means you're expanding into your opponent, or do you go for another expansion at another base location? There's not a lot of resources on this map as well. So even though there's usually in 4-player maps, there's just like a lot of resources to work with. This 4-player map, it feels like there's lighter resources. It's a lot more claustrophobic. Holding the mid portion of the map is very important across the board, just because it gives so much access to a lot of other locations. You do have this kind of wider ramp as well, but at least have the Zerg eggs to work with, and just kind of this wide choke natural expansion where there's a lot of maneuverability. You can see Barracks particularly might benefit from this, because you can assault that natural expansion if things aren't going well, maybe slip your way into the main, depending. Anyway, natural, it looks like we're seeing I think that was an 11 hatch into spawning pool. Try to keep an eye on that gas timing as well. A 201 gas, super fast, and a drone going ahead and scouting towards the bottom right hand corner. This Overlord camped near the natural to try to see if there was a front door seal. Should be able to see that SCV coming across. Does in fact spot that SCV while remaining cloaked. Ooh, look at this. Kind of a cute play that I missed. We're going to see a pseudo 14 command center. I saw Gypsy pull this once actually during the StarCon LAN, but going for command center first into Barracks along that corner, but hiding that command center up on the high ground. And that kind of presumes that your opponent is in fact going to go for a 11 or 12 hatch, but I think he's going to be able to pull this off, going for, and then double Barracks as far as a follow-up. So kind of cute. It's a little bit more defensible, because if your opponent gets aggressive, you can see actually Sacri going like, wait a minute, nothing here is building on the front. So, and you got to be careful with it, because if your Overlord goes too far out and there's Marines there, that's a dead Overlord as well. So it can be, and he still hasn't scouted bottom. So he went bottom left. He's a little bit confused. He's like, okay, is he top left? And not sure where to send the drone right this second on top of it. And the SCV making its way up is going to get the scouting information from there. Overlord still holding this location. He saw the SCV. That was the other thing. He saw the SCV come out. So he's like, did the SCV come out from that location? In the meantime, he's going to go for what's standard these days, 2-hatch Mutalisk. And the command center are going to go ahead and float out. So a nice little economic jump there, pulled off by Barracks. Look for him to, and almost smashing his own SCV. Now going to be able to, yeah, scooting up, finding that command center, but can't really do anything about it. The Zergling blockading the ramp, getting some good damage on that SCV. So the only information for Barracks as far as the follow-up is the drone saturation along that natural expansion. Going ahead and grabbing that gas and going to go for 2-Rax Academy as far as the turnaround. So basically it turns into 2-Rax Academy a little bit faster than usual, which is very, very dangerous in Barracks' hands, because he's so aggressive and so successfully aggressive with a lot of his build orders. His macro, his micro, absolutely phenomenal. SCV trailing is going to be able to move up and spot, first of all, the saturation. And what? I think he got eyes. Did he get eyes? I can't select the vision. Oh, yeah, I can. That was weird. I think he saw that second gas getting dropped. Spire morphing some Zerglings running out in the field. They would not be able to breach. Might get a Marine Killer too, but would not be able to breach otherwise. And 2 medics queued up. We still don't have the drones on the low ground. I'm not sure if he recognized that this was a 14 like command center float. Sees the bulk of Marines right there. The Zergling's going to try to peek their way around. That's one actually advantage of this map for Zerg, is because it's such a wide choke at the natural. When that isn't sealed, you can do this sort of thing, which does end up and when Marines get peeled away from the rest of that bulk army, you can get kills. Not able to get in the main, but now the medic marines are away. In base third hatchery, by the way. Creep colony defensively dropped. We'll see if this is in time. The Zergling's trying to delay this army. It looks like they're going to pay for it with their lives, potentially. And instead, we're just going to see him move up to the mid-ground. 2 fire bats holding. Is Barracks going to shoot the gap? Is the next question. First sunken colony being built. Second sunken colony potentially on the way. Range being... So I don't think we have range... yeah, range is not finished. We do have the engineering bay up, but +1 weapons not queued. A few mulisks trying to be built. Looks like the comsat checking whether there was... Yeah, there are 2 sunken colonies in the front, so that's plenty to defend. Zergling's able to at least get the scouting information and see that the third barracks is constructed, and getting some good bonus of a marine kill and a barracks halt right there, and able to stop a supply depot, just be a little bit annoying, and sees the turrets being fielded as well. And so now the firebats did stim. It looks like they're not stimming to take care of this last Zergling. Speed was upgraded, so just Zergling kind of going wee, running around the map. Range should be finished in plenty of time. Before there is like a really significant Mutalisk threat out on the field, which is kind of the, again, nice advantage of ooh, that Zergling's still getting damage done. Just got taken out by a vicious SCV, but got close. 5 hit points left. +1 weapons, however, is very delayed, and +1 weapons in range is usually that turnaround point where medic marines feel a little bit better. So it looks like there are going to be a few more turrets planted, and this is a very abusable natural expansion. This is like what's they used to put this in every map when Zerg really didn't have solutions for Terran medic marine just generally, so that Zerg could just abuse that natural expansion potentially to try to slow Terran down. That was like a general map feature of just how it worked. Now maybe because the Mutalisk micro is just, they say Mutalisk micro is a little bit easier in remastered, it's not as common a feature. But Barracks, one thing he'll do is he'll just leave the turrets, abandon his natural expansion, and go for attacks to exterior bases. This might be playing into Sacri's hands here, because when you go for the in-base third hatchery, oftentimes what you're trying to do is get a good amount of Mutalisks out in the field to wipe out that army. It's possible he could go for like a crazy Zerg style here, because I don't see any motions. He's going for that +1 weapons. He's got that second gas. He hasn't built any Zerglings, and it looks like he's just building Mutalisks. So I'm wondering if he just wants to go straight 2-hatch Mutalisk to try to deal with this, which might not be the worst play against Barracks and his aggressions. Lost the Mutalisks, however, and taken heavy damages in the meantime. And ooh, unfortunately, Barracks kind of building this supply depot line, making this almost like a similar ramp edge here, where it's a little harder for Marines to defend interior to the line. They're going to get escorted back out. We have another big medic Marine ball midfield, but no third base anywhere out on the map right now. And usually at this stage is when Zerg wants to kind of hunt down that army out in the field to wipe it out or keep eyes on it, so you can go establish an additional base, something along those lines. And instead, we're just seeing straight Mutalisk production and a slew of sunken colonies out on the front. We do have a drone that's making its way out. We have a firebat, however, bottom right. So nice anticipation and a lot of Mutalisks here. And so if Barracks actually just sits on the if he just sits on 3 Barracks play, continues to produce the medic Marines, waits on +1 weapons, we'll be in a strong position here. As long as he doesn't get a little bit greedy and go for double starport, I think should be just fine. Getting comsat up as well. Full control group plus some bonus here of Mutalisks to try to get some damage done. All sorts of turrets down in the meantime. And yeah, just pumping the units and just stacking them at all locations to stay staged and defended up. I think he recognized, yeah, there's no third base, and this is just straight up full-on Mutalisk. Going to grab that refinery. He's going double starport in the midst of this, but I think he's got enough of a bulk. He's got like 20 supply advantage, 7 worker advantage. I think it should be fine. Mutalisk trying to chase down that firebat bottom right-hand corner. The drone was able to sneak out, but this is nearly a 10-minute third base, so the science vessel count will be significant. Ooh, medic gets picked off. Nice pick off there in that corner. Poor stranded medic. But in the midst of this, some Hydralisks produced, lurker tech being upgraded. This I don't think was part of Sacri's plan. This is kind of the fold back option. He still hasn't dropped that hatchery bottom right. He's waiting for the Hydralisks to get there, and for lurker tech, because he's still concerned. And now you can see he's a little bit more tentative with the +1 weapons finished and a 4th barracks getting dropped. So you're going to have a pretty active rapid science vessel count. I think that's going to be well out on the map before Hive Tech is finished. We've got an evolution chamber dropping. feels a bit late. Firebat is finding the Hydralisk's bottom right. But Barracks, in the meantime, up a lot of supply, has managed to stave off what was a huge Mutalisk investment. He's going to have science vessels out fairly rapidly. I don't think he needs to bother with dropships, honestly. Sacri diving with those mules, trying to get as much value as possible before Irradiate is in place, able to get at least 2 turrets and a few SCVs there. The Marines kind of making their way up, but we got this huge army making their way bottom right. Lurkers are going to be there in time, so it's not going to be a breach location, and definitely not going to be a breach there, but regardless, the science vessel count is there. Radiate is upgrading. Supply count, 20 supply lead. At this stage, I don't know that Barracks is, because a lot of Terran don't bother going for a third. It's not really necessary. Okay, never mind. He is going to go ahead and move out on SCV. I was about to say, he can grab a third, no problem. He's ahead in tech. If he just wants to start boxing in, kind of invert this, just get some medic Marines to this location, grab a third, and box in. He can basically limit Sacri to 3 gas and still have a formidable army. Waiting a little bit on stacking the 2 science vessels nearby to go ahead. I think he wants to move that army up to also check whether that 4th base, because that's a nearby 4th. Ooh, Mutal's taking some free damage as a result, getting caught underneath. Some more Marines just kind of go ahead and patrol. So 3rd base getting grabbed. Science vessels have Irradiate complete. 5 is up. We get Adrenal up. Interesting kind of adjustment here. So Carapace upgrade, Adrenal upgrade, and a delay on Consume. I think recognizing that in a Nidus Canal being built, this is a very delayed 3rd gas. Very, very delayed 3rd gas. And a 40 supply lead otherwise. 3 science vessels out in the air. And let's see if this holds. This is 5 Sun Colonies. This is 5 Sun Colonies, but with no Lurkers and some Mutalisks alongside. The Radiate can take care of the Lurkers, and Barracks is known for just jumping on this, but he doesn't need to is the thing. But the thing is because he's Barracks, I think he will. Recognizing that, okay, we don't have a Defiler here. So, and you can see Sacri actually recognizing that, going ahead and dropping yet another creep colony. It looks like Barracks is getting a little bit less aggro. Getting less aggro in his more formidable years, and instead going to go ahead and grab bottom left and just get the science vessel count. He just needs to make sure he gets some value out of them and drops the Irradiates and boxes his opponent in. Where do the Lurkers go? Okay, the Lurkers are... I missed that trick. Overlord sitting on top. So we got 4 Lurkers here. Another hatchery getting dropped here bottom right. One thing about this map is... It is a long traversal distance. So despite not having a lot of resources and just like the 4 bases, there is a lot of travel distance between location on Deja Vu, which I want to say as much as possible because it just feels fun to say it. So the science vessel is grouping up bottom right. Mutal's trying to dodge out of the way. Ugh, careful. Gonna stim. He sees, okay, getting, oh, that was a nice Irradiate on the Scourge. This is plenty to actually, and they're gonna group up. They're trying to, I think they're trying to, yeah, they grouped up to move the Overlord animation out of the way. Irradiated some Zerglings. The Zerglings are trying to sit on top of the Lurkers to prevent those Irradiates. This is cute. And you can see he's just trying to, like, yeah, position and push it. Push the Overlord positioning a little bit out of the way there via the air distancing so he can open up and drop some Irradiates on the Lurker line. Plague upgrading, by the way, so it's going to be Plague Mutaling in the midst of this, in the mid-game. Could be interesting. And you can see how the Adrenal upgrade +1 Carapace Zerglings perform actually very, very well in combination. So that army wiped out. The Lurkers, however, gone between all of those Irradiates. And a dodge out. Goodbye, Scourge. The Zerglings with +1 Carapace are helpful, but, ooh, Science Vessel getting wiped out there. I guess I actually missed it. So there's still 3. They were hidden well enough. So there's still 3 Lurkers in space of this. Mutalisk, in the meantime, trying to dive at that 3rd with just Marines, however. Going to be able to clear that out now that they got that +1 armor as well. But Sacri moving out on the map, looking for some soft targets to take. I don't know that there's a lot of soft targets there. Because you got this pack of Marines bottom left. That actually might be vulnerable. A bunch of dropships have been produced in the interim. With the Adrenal upgrades and +1 Carapace, might be able to wipe out this base. But what Barracks can do is just lift off and go for a counterattack at a general location. Yeah, just swarming with the Zerglings, relying on the Carapace and the Adrenal upgrade to get the damage done. Kind of like this, actually, and I don't know why more Zerg don't do this. So going to be able to clear out this base. But now, Barracks going to go ahead and bear down with the drop. Is actually going to switch locations. So going to move all of the army up to top right. Going to move the dropships to bottom right. There's a lot of Scourge here, but there's still a big open drop area potential. Never mind, going to reposition. Scourge at least finding one of the dropships, but not... Ooh, trying to get the Zerglings in position. They're going to skip over that natural location. And what an exchange here. So instead going for a drop at the main, Barracks drawing back his army that was latently on the ground to try to go ahead and defend what was his third. Firebat, oh man, the Firebat is out of this fight. So the Dark Swarm actually going to be able to hold this. So well defended by Sacri, and now it might be able to get a fourth gas up. So interestingly enough, something I'm learning about Deja Vu right this second is the size of the map actually might benefit Zerg, just because it's so... Zerglings are so fast, able to close distances so rapidly, and it's challenging to get everything across the map where you want it to be, it looks like. Double evolution chamber down, by the way. Spawning pool has to get redropped as it would picked off. Actually, that's kind of that'll hurt more than usual. Usually that's kind of like the after effect. You're more worried about other units out in the field, but the Zergling's actually kind of formidable. Science vessel gets wiped out. Nice plague on the Marines. And yeah, the combination plague, Carapace Zergling action with a +1 Carapace right there, or +1 weapons, I should say, and +1 Carapace right there, pretty formidable. Looks like, and not a lot of saturation here bottom left. So the main just about mined out. Natural expansion will be there for a bit. The third base is starved. We got not a lot of saturation bottom left and 4 gas Zerg. But as I say that, another drop making its way into the main. Looks like it's going to get cleaned up pretty rapidly. We have one latent Marine that looks like top right. Oh, come on, Lurker. Couple drones still getting wiped out. Now working on that Ultralisk Cavern. This would actually be a big hit. Lurkers need to get their way forward. Never mind. Ultralisk Cavern down, and that upgrade wasn't canceled. But at the same time, Sacri, dangerously close in supply, has a very healthy economy. That poor medic left behind. That command center has been halted at the very least. Fourth gas is secured, but not yet functioning for Sacri. And another drop in the main, this time near the Hydewell Stint. Some Ultralisks are out, even off the 3 gas. Carapace upgrade. So we got +3 Carapace on those Ultralisks. So I'm trying to think. I think that's the +2 plus the +1. Yeah. Overall. Are we going to see an Eraser Trek, bottom right? A big drone cycle there from Sacri to try to make something happen. A drop in the meantime by Barracks at the natural expansion. Gonna catch a lot of drones right there. And Sacri having some trouble dealing with it. Fumbling the drones. It looks like he is chasing down this medic Marine army mid-map. +2 weapons, +1 armor, by the way. So they'll actually perform decently well against the Ultralisks. But Ultralisks are so beefy, still should be able to clean this up. Yeah, Barracks is going to go ahead and pull back. Looks like he was able to reestablish that third in the midst of all this. Some Science Vessels dying as they're... Wow, Science Vessels kind of actually wiped out. So Sacri has now gotten ahead in supply. He doesn't have the Ultralisk... Okay, he's rebuilt the Ultralisk Cavern, trying to get Ultra Speed. Gonna have to wait on Ultralisk armor once again. He's battered and bruised, but still in a very, very strong position. More dropships being built. I'm waiting for the battle cruisers to start making their way across the field. Are they queued up? No. We do have +1 weapons actually being upgraded in anticipation to help deal with the Scourge. All sorts of units making their way bottom right. We only have a single two Lurkers. You do not fall for that trick. 2 Lurkers bottom right. A bunch of Ultralisks, however, on a cutoff ramp. So this could turn into a base exchange situation here. And we also have a Defiler alongside. Did the Irradiate? The Irradiate did not drop on the Defiler. So that's going to be a healthy Defiler. Potentially dropped in the natural expansion. So that Irradiate, is it going to be in time? I don't think it's going to be in time. 1 Dark Swarm, and this is a dead natural expansion. And there it is. But a massive attack here bottom right should be able to wipe out that lower natural and everything else. So it's going to be a base for a base. If the Ultras can get on top of the Barracks, it could turn into a latent army versus latent army situation. We do have 2 Lurkers going to be able to get in position on top of the ramp to stop that assault. So just going to end up losing that natural expansion. So a natural for a natural in the midst of this. Barracks still ahead as far as overall production. Has actually managed a 30 supply lead. Has those dropships out. Another base getting grabbed from Sacri. That Dark Swarm's still there. Man, that lasted a long time. Looks like the Ultras did not make their way up the ramp and are just going to sit and get irradiated. So just going to try to grab a couple supply depots. Zerglings are so fast. So just like an instant delete button on that. But now going to go ahead and move up and swarm at that third. wiping all the SCVs out here. Unfortunately, the Zerglings and Irradiate, they're one, hard to target, but two, they just don't get cleared out all that rapidly. So the Zerglings now crashing down back, they're getting drawn at least to that natural expansion. The Ultra's not in front, so the Zerglings not... The Ultra with the Zerglings do a lot. As long as that Ultra is getting targeted, the Zerglings alone tend to get peeled away pretty rapidly with decent upgrades at this stage. Able to reclaim that, but a lot of SCVs lost. And another movement here, bottom left. It looks like that hatchery being redropped. We have that hatchery up, but no gas claimed. That would kind of be a normal third base. Bunker getting completely dropped, and now the SCVs have to exit here, bottom left. So Sacri able to draw blood on multiple fronts here. Is only down 20 supply. Did the Ultra... I'm looking for whether that... We don't have the Ultra's Carapace bonus, but we do have the speed overall. Maybe waiting on additional gas before going for that additional upgrade. 4 lurkers bunched up here bottom right to provide a bit of defense. A massive army out here for Barracks, kind of running around. The question is where does he send it? Speaking of Barracks, that Barracks wiped out. It looks like bottom left going to get wiped out. Science vessels in tow. Ooh, 3 of them eat a plague. Drones were already distance mining that gas. Bottom left. Some drones kind of scattering. It looks like they were trying to surface here. Trying to get down to bottom left to start mining right there. Bottom left getting cleaned up, by the way. It doesn't look like that's going to get lifted up. And the science vessel is just going to get left. An eraser trick. So, but with only a single science vessel. And I hear some battle cruisers. It looks like some battle cruisers are on the lower ground natural expansion. So this getting completely shut down. But Barracks at the same time has half the worker count. Looks like I missed the hatchery getting dropped. And it looks like a hatchery going to be taken out again, which would be a big win for Barracks. Needs to rebuild his army in the space of this. Looks like we have some burrowed Zerglings spotting the units making their way back up. Battle cruisers going to be mostly cleared. Oh, okay, Spore Colony being built. Right now, though, so despite having a lot of workers, kind of looking for... There's just not the... I'm not seeing great saturation. Looks like most of them were at the natural expansion. So Sacri no longer is mining it as he needs to get to the drones bottom right. We'll see if he can defend it even. And a lot of drones going to get picked off in transition. So Barracks able to get some good kills. As far as a follow-up, the Ultra is trying to reposition, maybe to defend. Oh, 3 o'clock base, very exposed. The Ultra, I think he's just hoping that this isn't going to get spotted. By the way, the command center lifted off, redropped here the 6 o'clock. Ultra's piling in with the Zerglings, but there's a battle cruiser overhead. Not enough medic marines to hold this. So, and this was Barracks' 1 mining base. So yeah, he has that base, but it's burning, and he doesn't have any SCVs in location. Looks like that is going to get defended. Science vessels moving in, dropping some irradiates, but getting wiped out. Looks like we do still have 3 lurkers at the close position. And Barracks looking for what might be a final assault here bottom right. He's got his natural expansion barely up. I don't know if that's going to last very long. This command center is not building an SCV and it's not saturated. So this is basically the final mining base. Ultra's diving in, they're going to be able to clean up. Ooh, Dark Swarm as well. And that's GG. Yeah, Barracks just doesn't have the economy. Sacri able to pull it out by just being scrappy and all over the place. I love TVZ. It's just honestly so entertaining. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for listening.